Welcome to Women Who Brand, a podcast that spotlights inspiring women in the creative industry. I'm Alejandra Salazar, founder and CEO of CROING, which is part of the 0.1% of creative agencies founded by a woman. This podcast is an initiative of CROING, and I'll be your host today. A Woman Who Brands is a creative, strategic, and visionary force in the world of marketing, making an impact in both her role and the creative industry as a whole. She shapes how people perceive, interact with, and remember a brand. In this episode, we will be talking with Rachel McLaughlin, the Chief Brand Officer of Made by Gather. I believe this conversation will serve as a guide for those looking to find the right fit within the industry. She spoke about the importance of team building and follow your intuition. She also shared everything about Fits Anywhere, Even There, her recent campaign featuring Demi Lovato in Times Square, but perfectly fitting the concept with the space. This talk might fit perfectly with you too, so welcome our next Woman Who Brands, Rachel McLaughlin. Welcome to Women Who Brand.
Thank you, LA.
Thank you so much for joining us. Rachel, the CROING team, and I have known each other for over a year, planning and brainstorming together, but today we are here to know her better. So to start, Rachel, tell me, what led you to pursue a career in marketing, and how do you feel about your current role?
So from a very young age, I was always curious about the intersection between creativity and numbers. I didn't really know how that would play out. And I ended up studying kind of an odd combination of subjects in undergrad, which was art and finance. Like I say that and people are like, why? It makes no sense.
Love it.
Yeah. But as I went through college, it was the studio art classes, like very tactical, very highly creative classes that kept me the most engaged.
Mm-hmm.
And then the finance courses were the most challenging. So I liked that kind of dual role of being able to like flex the left brain and challenge that in the right brain. Just didn't know how to translate that into a career path. So fast forward to kind of first career, and I started my career in management consulting, and I did that for 6 years, which was, my husband was like, don't say you hate it, but it was like a love hate. It was, and look, everything teaches you something. I just wasn't fulfilled. And I kept coming back to like, the most creative I can be is in a PowerPoint presentation, actually like building the slide, like there has to be something more. And I had a phenomenal mentor towards the end of my career in consulting who pushed me to pursue that and go to business school. He was like, I see this in you. You have to do this. I will support you and just apply, see what happens. And I did that. It all worked out. And I ended up going to business school with a like really focused objective of, I'm going to make a pivot. I'm going to get into retail. I'm going to do something that is highly creative, but also strategic. And here I am. Took a while to get there, but like every twist and turn is, it happens for a reason. Truly believe that.
Love it. I studied business and design, and it was like a career that didn't exist in other universities. So there was one specific in Caracas, Venezuela, that did that. And it was like, for me, the two sides of my brain work in parallel, because it's like design, photography, all the illustration techniques, like all you can imagine related to art, and then business, macroeconomy, microeconomy. I don't know. It was super cool. And then it led me now today being able to run this agency, because you need to be creative, but at the same time, you need to be strategic. And I think it's a similar kind of,
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about your current role?
This is truly my dream job. I love it so much. I love anything that's close to the consumer. I'm just a naturally curious person and love observing and doing research to understand the why behind why people make purchasing decisions. And I have such an amazing team, incredible creatives, incredible commercial partners, and I couldn't be happier.
Love it. So how do you know when an idea or an initiative is good? Like talking more about your daily daily work. Do you have a specific process, or is more of a feeling for you?
Okay, definitely a feeling.
Okay.
Like no question a feeling, for better or for worse. And I think, look, when I know it is a good idea, it's something that I will think about before I go to bed, when I wake up, when I'm working out the next morning, and I'm like, okay, like it's been more than 24 hours that like I'm feeling something. And while it's not a super structured process, what I'll do is there's a handful of of people, I would call them really thought leaders in my network, many of whom are at Made by Gather, who, you find your people, right? You're like, I trust their opinion. I want to bounce this off them. I'm also totally myself in front of them and can say whatever's on my mind. And that helps with like just trusting kind of that intuition where you're like, all right, am I onto something? How could I vet this? And so typically those conversations of me just sharing like what's on my mind, why I'm passionate about it will help me narrow in on really a research hypothesis. And some of that I'll then take and run with it and talk to the insights team about doing a focus group, doing a kind of community event to get some really, quick feedback or a quant study. And based on the results of one or multiple of those kind of insights initiatives, I'll then kind of say, or I'll be able to tell with more confidence that like, all right, this is a consumer problem. Yes, I'm onto a solution. Like team, let's go run.
Let's do it. Love it. I think I've been in those conversations when you show your idea.
They happen all the time.
I know. No. I know. You're super passionate. It's so inspiring. And that's why I wanted to have you here in the podcast, because I know it will be super inspiring for other women out there.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome. So in your work experience, how do you make your voice and creative ideas heard?
Like struggling with this because I always make them heard. I will say whatever. Look, I always speak my mind, and I think it's important to find a culture. Like if that's a part of you, right? Like that's a part of me that I love. And it's something that I think is really important to branding and marketing teams to like show up as a leader that way and set an example for others to just share whatever, not be afraid of failure, not be afraid of being judged, and create a safe space for that. And I've observed over the course of my career that, look, the more I do that, the more other employees who like cross-functional employees who like really aren't super close to the subject matter sometimes will share something where I'm like, I never thought of that. The team is like, wow. And they just build and build and build. And like, that is when great things happen. So I'm really a proponent of like, speak your mind. If you're in a meeting, you're there to speak up and to engage. And that means sharing.
100%. Love that. So now, what is the biggest misconception people have about your work?
I think, look, Made by Gather we are a house of kitchenware brands. So we are very much kind of entrenched in housewares retail, which for most of the marketers that I have met who work in this industry, it's like they've been doing this their whole lives. They know an air fryer and a toaster and a blender inside and out, the features, the benefits, the pricing, the distribution strategy. And, look, I've been doing this for 5 years. So I kind of came in with this inexperience advantage. And I feel like, look, if you are a naturally curious person and you have that like consumer centric mindset and passion for solving a problem that you maybe experience yourself or you see in your network or extended network, like that inexperience advantage is the game changer. Like that is when innovation, big ideas, right? That's how it comes about. And I think like as a leader, and it took me a while to kind of be able to say this with confidence, right? But like as a leader, you can hire the subject matter experts. You cannot hire for curiosity and passion. Like that is in your blood or it's not. And it's up to me and all leaders, really, irrespective of branding or whatever field you're in, to like architect the right mix of players on the field. You know what I mean? To get that best kind of collective output.
Love that. Okay, now, what trend in marketing excites you right now?
Okay, realness for sure. And I know you and I have talked a lot about that.
A lot.
Yeah. And I think, the reason I didn't choose the word authenticity is because I think the word authenticity is so overused and often misunderstood. And I think that we're on the precipice of normalizing a level of raw, be who you are, show up, however that is, and own it unapologetically and be consistent. Right. And you see this happening in kind of micro creators, smaller communities. And I do think that it's starting to now trickle into, I wouldn't say the masses just yet, but it's something that I have, I look at often, right? Yeah. Like how are people articulating their story? Like, what are they sharing? Like, how are people responding to that? And what I find fascinating is that there is this, you look at someone like Molly Baz, right? She's Special K campaign, having her first child, shows up on a billboard to normalize breastfeeding.
Love it.
The billboard gets taken down and she fights for it. Her community rallies behind that. There's amplification that happens. And like, now look at, she's the face of Bobby, right? She is who so many women are looking at and like, hell yes.
100%.
Like, and there is this realness that comes across in how she tells her story on a personal level, like at home through her social, right? Like she is holding her baby, she's pumping in the car. Like, look, she's got a cookbook. She has a product collaboration with CB2. Like she's a busy woman. And I think, that's just one example of this realness that I think we're going to see more and more of. And I think especially now, just given the state of the world and, the kind of point of view that I think people are going to kind of rally around.
It's so needed. It's so needed because I feel marketing is also about reflecting culture in a way.
Yeah.
Brands have the power to show kind of a reflection of who we are. And when you see that reflection being so different to you, it's like, so then how can I become what is expected for me to become when I'm just this? And I think that has been happening for years because marketers in general has been told to project something like aspirational. And now the aspirational is being real.
Yeah,
so that's
so well said.
Because everyone wants to feel good with their body, with their decisions, with their lifestyle, because it's just one life that we have, right? So it's just a constant pressure from big brands and like influencers that are portraying these things that is sometimes unachievable. And when you see brands or creators, influencers actually showing how their life looks like, you're like, oh, I can also do it. I can achieve it. Like I'm doing good,
Yeah.
I agree with you on the trend on that we will see more and more. And it's also beautiful because everyone is so different that I feel marketing will start to become even more creative and more fun because, like we are so different, so complex. That excites me as well.
Yeah, me too.
Love it. So now this is all about get to know you better. And I feel what you just share, it's giving us a real sense of why you do the things you do, how you make your decisions. But let's see you now as a brand. If you were a brand, what would your what would your slogan be and the brand colors, your brand colors?
Okay, brand colors for sure. So easy. Cobalt blue.
Okay.
Whenever I see that in a brand book or visual mood board, I'm like, yes, that one. I don't know what it is. Speaks to me. Okay, for slogan, it's actually funny because the yoga instructor from my class this morning, she said this a couple times and I was like, you know what? Do you. That's it. Do you would be my slogan.
I love you, Rachel. You're the best. No, I honestly love you. You're so sweet. Love it. Okay, so now let's talk about Bella Fits Anywhere, even their campaign featuring Demi Lovato. I've known this concept for over a year now, and I know how much heart and data it has behind it. Seeing it now even fitting in Times Square was such a moment. I saw you there, and really, it was like full circle to see you there. So tell the audience about the campaign. How did you come up with the concept, and how's the reception been like?
Yeah, so Fits Anywhere, Even There is the campaign tagline. And this is for our Bella brand, which before we launched the campaign, we worked really hard on talking to our consumers, surveys, focus groups, going into homes and really observing how do Americans live? We talked about realness before, and it was truly eye-opening to put yourself in the consumer's shoes kind of across America and see, you hear in Circana data and market research reports, like there's no unmet need for consumers in the market for kitchenware, which only from that one-to-one communication with consumers did we find that, wait, there is an unmet need and that's space. So there's a barrier to purchasing more kitchenware because they don't have room for it. So we really leaned into that and took that kind of direct from voice approach, right, to creating products based on that insight. And when we started to concept, okay, what do we do? We know that we have an awareness challenge. So is it more of a brand campaign? Is it product? And based on our product testing, we were like, it's product. Let's lean into breakthrough product and creative. And we started to kind of riff on like, what would it be like to take kitchenware outside of these places that we heard and saw from consumers? Like we heard a woman tell us, oh, I keep my blender in the bathroom because I don't have room for it in the kitchen and I make a smoothie every morning. My cookware cookware is in a box behind the couch. I just don't have room for it. Like craziest things. So we were like, all right, that's crazy to us, but what if we push on crazy, take it to bizarre, take it out of this world? And the even there part of the tagline was, really intended to mean in a submarine, outer space, alien console, dinosaur, like prehistoric world. So we really pushed into this like whimsical, hyper real, like just kind of out there, all these different places where kitchenware could go. And I know you're a mother, so you might, hopefully you're thinking, wait, this sounds kind of like a Dr. Seuss book, which was the inspiration.
I'm an auntie, actually.
Oh, no way.
No, yeah. I'm not.
Oh my God. Okay, same thing.
Yeah, of course.
So you're an extension of mom, but it's all the places we could go. And that kind of, it was a whimsy campaign.
And it was super, I will say, super different from the category. And not only the category, but, what is happening right now, like the type of campaigns you see, it's pretty metaverse-y thing. And I think that's pretty fun. And tell me about the Times Square, because I love how you put the concept into even fit there. But tell me more about it. Like, how was it to see there? Because I know for a marketer, like to see your vision and Times Square might mean something, right?
Oh my God. It was incredible. Definitely the like highlight of my career. And it was actually really challenging to try to figure out how to adapt the concept to that specific high impact space. And we knew that we wanted to be in Times Square. So we started to think about, okay, what would the even there be in Times Square?
Exactly.
We were like, okay, a toaster would fit in between buildings if you like zoomed way out, right? So we played with that and we were looking at a couple of spaces, but we found a space where we could show our hero product, which is the toaster, and we could show it kind of horizontally with toast coming out and then turn it and slide it up into a narrow space where it's like, wait, it could fit even there.
Love it. No, I love how you turn the concept to every piece of the whole campaign. It's just beautiful. I love that.
Thank you.
How the reception has been, and how was working with Demi for the campaign?
Oh my God, amazing. She is about to get married. So she really kind of tapped into this audience that is what we call the adulting persona. So they are thinking about their first home. They're establishing their first home. Maybe it's the first time they've ever purchased kitchenware before. And we realized when working with her, our founder, Shay, he asked her, he was like, do you have an air fryer? She's like, no. She was very intimidated by really how to use an air fryer. And so we took that as an additional insight during our product development process, where we were like, let's just make the UI of this product so simple. Like you shouldn't need an instruction manual to do it. You plug it in, it's so intuitive, like 2 to 3 steps max.
Love that.
And that really resonated not only with her, but her audience and this kind of older Gen Z, young millennial consumer. So we were able to really tap into that and connect with our growth audience while also putting this campaign out there in the world for women like you and I, men, like the life jugglers, right? We're balancing bigger families, career. So, it was super fun. And everyone, when we share this kind of concept of even there, this Dr. Seussian approach, the visual, like just graphical approach to the visuals and that hyper realism, like you show one slide of like the static ads, kind of screen grabs from the spot where we built every single set, like 18 different environments by hand. And you can tell that it's something special and so creative and so like tactile. Like there's no CGI, there's no AI going on. Like it's just artistic.
Love that. Right? No, I love that. You can see it definitely. Congrats on that, because
thank you.
I feel from the moment we spoke the first time to see it final campaign, it really reflects your vision and everything you share, and even how the product was conceived to the point of now it's just full circle. I love it. Congrats.
Yeah. Thank you. And like, look, consumers are the response. It's still early. We're like 5 weeks out. So far the star ratings on the products across the board are 4.8. So really proud of that. So highest rated. We have incredibly positive sentiments around that simplicity. Like this is so easy to use and it looks gorgeous on the countertop. So all the things that we wanted to hear from consumers. And I think one of the things that we're really proud of is we've been working really hard on developing a nonstick coating that was safer for kind of higher temperatures for family use. And many people are very conscious of what's happening in the world of Teflon, PFAS, microplastic, just like everything you touch and, drink out of and cook, like everything's bad. So, which is not totally untrue. So we spent a lot of time developing a high performance coating called Evergood that we put on all of our cookware, all of our heated appliances, and it's incredibly durable. And it also has no PFAS, no PTFE, no lead, no cadmium. So that kind of mindful approach to delivering something high performance is true innovation.
Love it. Love it. No. I know you guys take care of every detail from the product to how the campaign goes live. I know it's not just a concept and, putting the product there, but it's like such a work that you guys do to really come out with a product that really works. I know for marketers, this is, such a dream as well to work on a brand that you can actually create something that it's real to the product and real to the brand. So I see why you think of this as a dream job. 100%. Love it. Thank you for sharing everything about the campaign.
So welcome.
We will definitely share all the assets, everything we have, so everyone can see this beautiful campaign. So now it's time for our quick fire round. This is where we put you on the spot, but don't worry, it's all fun. I will ask some quick questions and you just say whatever comes to your mind. No overthinking, no pressure, just real reactions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Awesome. So, commercial spot or social media?
Social media.
Who creates the brand? The audience or the company teams?
Okay, the company creates the brand, audience shapes it.
Love it. Win an award or achieve sales results?
Ooh.
Be honest.
Ooh.
I know you like both.
I might say win an award.
Love it. Oh my God. Let's win it together.
Yes.
Awesome. So English or Spanish?
English.
Love that. Awesome. So I love this, Rachel. To close out this episode, I will ask you two more questions. Okay. First, what does it mean to you to be a woman who brands?
This is deep.
It is.
Okay. The first word that comes to mind is intuition. And I'm struggling with how to make sense of that within the context of the question a little bit. But I think that it's so important for people who work in branding, creating brands, growing brands, transforming them, right? To have and appreciate the balance and the push and pull between intuition and data. And I think there's a lot there, what comes to mind when I say I'm trusting your gut is like kind of like that mother's intuition where you're like, I just feel this, right? Like I talked earlier about my process for big ideas and it's like, there's a feeling, right? And then you go after that feeling and you try to prove it wrong with the data, prove it wrong with testing different hypotheses. And to me, that is where, and that like appreciation of the art and the science, leaning a little bit more into intuition, that is where the best ideas come from, the best campaigns, the best product innovation, the best people, some of the best people I've ever hired, biggest career wins have come from pure intuition. And the data in some of those cases has been counter to what I felt in my gut. And that's, it's a little bit uncomfortable, right? For people to kind of say, oh, like, trust your gut, right? It's like, again, like authenticity a little bit overused, but it's a saying for a reason. And I think it's so important. And I think that is what makes me smile when I think about what I do, who I work with, and being a woman in branding. Like that truly is what makes this a dream job.
Love it. Love it. What an answer. Love it. And last but not least, what advice would you give to a woman making her way in the creative industry?
Okay, two things. One, find your people who you trust, who are smart, who are going to push you, who are going to be real with you. And whether or not those are people that you see as mentors, friends, doesn't matter what, but get your group of like 2 to 5 people where it is, I talked about a safe space earlier, right? Where you can bounce ideas off each other. You can do a dry run of a presentation. You can ask stupid questions and not feel judged. And that process is so important as you develop as a human, not even as a professional in the creative field, but like just as a person. And I think it's so, so important, especially for creatives, to have that kind of community. And I think that for me, you know, even in business school, God, more than 10 years ago, you know, they pair you up with a mentor and you've got all these opportunities that your tuition is you're paying for it. And you're like, oh, there's so much pressure to like meet with this person and have a mentor here and here and here. It's so important to like be thoughtful about who and real with yourself on like what you need to complement where you're like, okay, I need growth here. And like, that's a really vulnerable place to be in sometimes. Then when you find that like little support system, it is a game changer.
Yes, I can say the same. Yes.
And the second thing, I mean, I said this a million times, but like gut intuition, trust it. It's there for a reason. Like you feel it in your stomach. You think about it's like in your brain. Don't ignore it. Find a culture and leaders who are going to let you own that unapologetically and use that to grow a brand, create a brand, grow the business. Like that is, gotta find it.
So beautiful. So beautiful. Thank you, Rachel. It's been so inspiring to hear your story. You're such a real role model and your journey can inspire your journey and your vision and the way you feel things, because I feel every time you mention the word intuition, like go for it, find your tribe, like those things, it might sound sometimes for some people, it's like, yeah, my intuition or finding a tribe. How can I do it? But actually, when you really feel it and you look for it, you will find it. Exactly. I feel the first thing to do is to really want it and to understand that that's possible. And you are showing us here today that it's possible. And that's the first step. So thank you, Rachel. And to all women who brand, listening or reading, remember your voice matters and your creativity has the power to inspire and lead. So until next time.
Love that. Ciao. Thank you so much.